Oh, hi, everybody. Ezra Levant here. It's August 21st. What a pleasure to be with you on this live stream. We do this every day at 12 noon Eastern Time. Monday, Wednesday, Friday's my days. Tuesday and Thursday, typically it's Sheila Gunn Reid and David Menzies. I was last here on Wednesday, and for some reason I went on a 45-minute bender about a Shakespeare play called Much Ado About Nothing, one of my favorite plays. Certainly my favorite Shakespeare comedy. I like Othello, Macbeth, and a little bit Hamlet. I like Romeo and Juliet, of course. But Much Ado About Nothing with Kenneth Branagh and Emma Thompson, just the best. But I got a lot of people who said, enough with the Shakespeare and the dating advice. Ezra, get back to politics. And so I will listen to you, my dear viewers. I do want to point out, can I get Sheila's tweet about a dating service? I do want to point out that after my show, Sheila Gunn Reid was talking fancifully or hypothetically about a dating service for rebels and the like-minded. Because I looked with some envy at the dating service that lockdownskeptics.org have in the United Kingdom. It's just for people who are sick of the BS, sick of the woke culture, sick of the mask mania, just sick of being sick. And I thought, that's great, and maybe we can do that. And Sheila, if you saw her tweet, I retweeted it, said, well, we should do a matchmaking service, she said, where we match up lovely ladies with, it might be a retweet or a reply, like, you know how you search on someone main tweets and replies? There was a tweet she mentioned, and then there was a young lady who I think has super chatted here before, Lisa Prue, I think is her name, who said, sign me up. And Sheila said, oh my gosh, her dating service is coming together. I want to get her wording just right, so that's why if you've got the tweet, it's all the better. But she said something like, let's hook up lovely young ladies with alpha males from Western Canada, where they are in larger number. Oh, there's Lisa right there. I think Lisa, who just chipped in $2 as a super chat, Ezra, thank you for Rebel News. I think Lisa tweeted that she would like to join Sheila's Rebel dating service. And look at Lisa there, obviously a very attractive young woman who is obviously rebel-centric. Really, fellas, do you need to know anything more? And Sheila, who I trust completely, has suggested that maybe it would be more like a matchmaker than an online dating service. So anyhow, if you can find that, I retweeted it this morning. I think it was a comment made by Sheila yesterday. There we go. So scroll up to what she was replying to. So here we go. Yankee Pollock says, Sheila and the Menzoid on Ezra Lent yesterday's dating advice live stream. Apparently Sheila is now accepting dating resumes for me. How quick is that clip? Can we play that with audio up? It's about a 2-minute clip. Can we play that? I think Sheila was talking about her proposed dating service. Yes, I will get back to the news, but are you telling me that this isn't more important? Pump up the volume.
Yeah, you know, it was also nice to have someone else suffer through his movie clips instead of me. He's made me watch that movie clip several times, and I'm like, why are you showing this to me? I'm happily married. I have 3 kids. I did my part. I did my part for humanity. You got to show that to the single people. I get it. I did this. I didn't need the advice. But I do think there is some room out there for, let's say, a conservative lady matchmaker who would help attach fed up Central and Eastern Canadian women with the sort of menfolk that are out there.
Wow.
To some alpha types out here. And maybe do a little bit of that.
Didn't the boss kind of launch a beta version of that? Didn't he solicit dates for our colleague Yankee in Montreal,
Yeah.
Sheila? So how do you like that? You know, so Yankee is on the market, ladies, and for Sheila, are you kind of now sad that you're off the market?
No, I'm perfectly fine. My choices, I'm great. I'm great. Everybody's happy in my household. Happy life, happy wife. But maybe Yankee might consider an Alberta woman. I'm just saying, an Alberta woman might be more up his alley. We like to shoot. We like to hunt. We like the things that Yankee likes to do. I think it might be easier for him to find a more freedom-minded gun enthusiast out in the West as opposed to Montreal, and maybe he could rescue himself from Montreal at the very same time. I'm just floating a thought bubble.
Yeah, so all you hot Albertan single women, please send your photos to Yankee.
No, I'll be pre-screening. They're not going directly to Yankee.
And me for 3 screening.
Okay, no. Let's keep going. MVP.
Yeah, but it's funny. But tell that to the lovelorn. It ain't funny. And so go back to the tweet. So I just read the tweet that Yankee did. That was a little bit of a follow-up discussion to my advice for the lovelorn. And then Lisa says, Sheila, dear Sheila, I would like to submit my application for a match with a real alpha man who respects law and genuinely disliked wearing masks. And then Sheila replies, you can see underneath it, well, my dating service is coming together already. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. What's funny about that? Nothing funny about it. John Barker, $5. Great informer, $5. Justin Trudeau's hooked on the hokey pokey, but he turned himself around and George Soros gets chocolate milk from the back end of a cow. All right, I'm not going to go there. But I sort of like the idea. Now, you can do it pretty simply by just having like a message board, which is what they do at Lockdown Skeptics, or you could try and do something fancier. The thing about dating sites, I would imagine, not having been on them in over a decade, is you need a critical mass. It's like any social media. You can't just have 3 men and 3 women on them. You can't just have 30 men and women on them. Well, that's a start. You need 300, 3,000. Now you're talking. Because people have different qualifications, age, location, what do they look like, obviously important, hobbies, job, are you retired, are you, do you have kids, are you looking to have kids, you don't want kids. There's so many things, you start filtering it, and you need hundreds, thousands of people to make it work. So I don't know if it's possible to do it at scale, or if it has to be more boutique with Sheila as the matchmaker. But I can't help but think that God forbid I was single. First of all, what a lost cause that would be. But second of all, I can only imagine what it's like to be out there in this era of woke. I mean, in general, let's say being on university campus is a minefield. Not only of sexual politics, but of wokeness, and you said that, and you can't joke about that. You can't even have fun anymore. Imagine trying to date in that world. I think there would be demand. Can I get some feedback on that in the chats here? Get Sheila. Jay Fraser says, get Sheila her own site for this. Yeah, maybe. Coy, would like a boyfriend, don't have the time for one, too busy on the farm. Rebel live streams are my lunch break. Something to think about. All right. I did promise I'm not going to spend more time on that. It's 12:09. Let's get down to business. Everybody ready to get down to business? We'll talk about, maybe we'll have Rebel personals. Rebel matchmakers, Rebel singles. Maybe that's something we need to do as a public service. I don't think Lisa Prue was joking. I think she's looking for an out. I mean, she said it. Why wouldn't she mean it? Maybe we'll find a match for her just in the chats here. You never know. But I think it's probably wise to have Sheila as an intermediary because she knows what questions to ask, I can imagine. Question number 1. to the fellas. Do you have a job? Obviously. Okay, let's get down to business. I want to let you know that in 1 hour and 6 minutes time, we are rolling out a video premiere. And it's not for me to let the cat out of the bag, but I would like to give you a teaser. Our friend David Menzies, who has been perhaps Canada's most effective journalist during the pandemic, went out to Caledonia in Ontario, which has a crisis of the rule of law. And without further ado, let me show you this clip, the full version of which we will show at 1:15 today.
A small percentage of them are native and actually know the history and the debate that's going on right now in this area and genuinely want what's good for the native people. And then you have a large percentage who are basically anarchists. They're coming from Kitchener, Toronto, Brantford, and they're only coming here to cause trouble. It's unfortunate.
Nobody's gonna talk to anyone. We should just go. Oh, sir, we just
That is terrifying. I said today, we had 3 bodyguards with him, is that right? 3 bodyguards. And he had 1 cameraman with him, is that right? Yeah. So we're rolling with a team of 5. That's expensive. I don't know what the security bill is for that. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a $2,000 security bill to do 1 video. But I got to tell you, of all the things we cover, going to those protests in Caledonia there could well be the most dangerous. In that area, the use of fire, this isn't just your regular urban Black Lives Matter or Antifa protests where maybe they'll smash a window, light a fire, do something gross. Some of these folks are not averse to using firearms. Obviously illegal in Canada. Many of them smuggled across the border from the States. And it's so bad that the police basically fear to tread in there. So we covered it with 3 bodyguards. Of course, bodyguards don't stop a bullet now, do they? Thank God it didn't get into violence, but you can see those people there were ready for a fight. I have not watched the video in its entirety, but I would encourage you to tune in 1 hour and 3 minutes for the premiere. And if you like it as much as I think you will, consider chipping into the Journalist Defense Fund. We spent, by my estimate, $2,000 on security for that video. All right. I want to show you a video I made about a month ago that was sort of a technical video. I went through a Scottish law. It's actually not law yet. It's just a bill, a proposed law. It took me half an hour to get through the whole thing because I really went through paragraph by paragraph. I thought it would be sort of boring. I'm a former lawyer myself, but you don't even need to be a lawyer to read most laws. You just have to go carefully and slowly, and what does it mean? This law was a little bit complicated, but it was clear enough. It's a law that does a few things, including banning insults. I think that's the word in the law. Am I right, Justin? Insults. And like banning insults. Well, everything or anything can be an insult. Yeah, things that might be an insult even. So, or things that might cause hard feeling. It's like a pre-crime. It's like that movie Minority Report where the precogs imagined a crime was about to happen and they sent in the cops to arrest the person before they even did it. This bill, I went through the whole thing, it actually criminalizes feelings-based. Like if you stab someone, that's a crime, obviously. But if you had hard feelings, that was an extra level of crime. And how do they prove hard feelings? It could be a single Facebook post that you made a year earlier. You're thinking, no, that can't be. Well, I went through the bill line by line. Do we have that vid? I wouldn't mind showing a quick clip of it. Yeah, it's a good idea. So Hamza Youssef is the name of the Justice Minister in Scotland. Scotland has its own parliament, which is subordinate to the Parliament of the United Kingdom. It's sort of I don't understand the whole thing, but it's sort of got devolved powers, semi-autonomous, but it is under the jurisdiction of the UK Parliament. There's a Scottish nationalist movement, and you know, I tend to support local identities and nationalist movements. I don't have much to say about the Scottish national movement, but I do have a lot to say about a Scottish censorship movement led by Humza Yousaf, who, as you can detect from the name, is a Pakistani British. He's born in the UK, I think. And he's the Justice Minister. And Scotland is about 98% Scottish, as you can imagine, very white. And they've treated Humza Yousaf like a prince. I mean, he's the Justice Minister. He's a great success, financially, politically, whatever. But he is so bitter and resentful. I want to play for you part of a clip of him giving a speech in Scotland, in the Scottish Parliament, as the Scottish Justice Minister. So he's like the tip top. But he just can't hide his hatred for his fellow Scots. Take a look at this. Listen to this rant.
When the most senior positions in Scotland are filled almost exclusively by those who are white. Take my portfolio alone. The Lord President, white. The Lord Justice Clerk, white. Every High Court judge, white. The Lord Advocate, white. The Solicitor General, white. The Chief Constable, white. Every Deputy Chief Constable, white. Every Assistant Chief Constable, white. The Head of the Law Society, white. The Head of the Faculty of Advocates, white. Every Prison Governor, white. And not just Justice. The Chief Medical Officer, white. The Chief Nursing Officer, white. The Chief Veterinary Officer, white. The Chief Social Work Advisor, white. Almost every trade union in this country headed by people who are white. In the Scottish Government, every Director General is white. Every chair of every public body is white.
All right, okay, thanks, we get it. You judge people based on their skin color. That's called racism. And you really, really, really don't like white people. All right, message received. You just don't usually hear it said that plainly. Now, it's true, Scotland is chock full of Scots. It's just like Pakistan is full of Pakistanis. Not sure how it would go over, shoe on the other foot, if you stood up in the Pakistani parliament, if there is such a place, and denounced Pakistan for having just so many Pakistanis. Anyway, so we have a son of privilege, a powerful, successful man who... So that video goes on for half an hour, and boy, I'm glad I got a haircut since then. But, you know, there are different parts of the UK that are majority-minority. There are cities in the United States, like Washington, D.C., for example. The District of Columbia, it's shaped like a diamond, actually, is overwhelmingly black. A lot of the white citizens actually live in the suburbs, Northern Virginia, Maryland, whatnot. There are cities, Detroit, black. Atlanta, Baltimore. It would be bizarre, shocking, and unacceptably racist for someone to stand up in Washington, D.C.'s council chambers, the city council, and say, the head of police, black, the head of the black, 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 black. You'd say, first of all, mate, you're crazy, because in the case of Scotland, it's like 90+% Scottish white, Gaelic, Scot, whatever it is. It's a language. What did you, yeah, here's a map. Here's Scotland's census, interactive maps. So these different colors show just how Scottish it is. The dark blue is 98% or more Scottish. The lighter blue between 95 and 98%. And then there's some parts that it falls under 95%. Word to the wise, if you don't really like Scottish people, don't go there, because it is full of them. Like, I'm talking jammed full. While I'm at it, if you don't like Spanish people, don't go to Spain. If you don't like French people, don't go to France. And I hear that Italy is just full of Italians. It's bizarre to me that Humza Yousaf would stand up and give such a racist rant. But then for the chutzpah of that guy to pass or to propose, it's not passed yet, thank God, to propose a bill that criminalizes insults or hurt feelings. And what's so terrifying is the possession of hurt feelings material is a crime in itself. Well, what does that mean, possession? How can I possess hurt feelings stuff? A Facebook post, a Twitter post. So if it's on your computer, guilty. It's like child porn on your computer. Except for if you have a meme making fun of Hamza Yusuf, if you insult him, that's illegal. And it won't surprise you to know that the Scottish Police Federation says, yeah, mate, that's not how we do it here in Scotland. Yeah, here's the law. Here's the law. Offenses of stirring up hatred. Hatred's a feeling? Yeah, look at that. If a person commits an offense, if the person behaves in a threatening, abusive, or insulting manner. Well, threatening, there are some threats in the criminal law already. Abusive, I don't even know what that means. Do you mean physically abusive? But insulting manner, I know what that means. That means you're just telling insults. Sorry, telling insults is actually a Scottish national tradition. You could say it's a tradition all across the West, and especially in the mouthier parts, like Scotland, like Ireland. Try telling a Scot he's not allowed to use insults. He'll insult you to your face. No more than any other respectable person would. You're allowed to insult, especially politicians, especially racists like Hamza Yusuf. Anyways, I literally went through this. I don't want to go through it again now because it took me half an hour to go through my video. And can you show that video's view count? Now, so I did this video and I thought, all right. You know, I actually did it with Count Dankula in mind because I know he's been trapped up by those Scottish censorship laws before. And I was thinking, well, he's going to be... So what's the view count there? 160,000. And you got 7,300 likes, 200 dislikes. Scroll down. How many comments we got on this thing here? It's just loading that right now. 5,169 comments. And there's a lot of comments that are mad at him. Notice he says white, not Scottish. I think the man is living in the wrong country with the white rant. Yeah, I think people can't believe that a guy who's such a racist, I'm sorry, it's racist to judge people by their race. Like he's making race a big deal, which is really weird in a place where everyone's sort of the same. Why are you trying to divide people? So lots of comments there, 5,000 plus of them. And the thing about the internet is people say mean things to everyone on the internet. That's why I block people by the 1,000 on Twitter. I just don't have time. To me, it's like walking down the street. If a stranger calls out and say, hey, Ezra, blah, 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 I might say, oh, hey, who are you? What's going on? I'll listen to you for a second, even though you're a stranger hollering at me. What's up? Oh, maybe you even want to say hi and shake my hand. That's friendly. But there's also, you could walk down a street and there might be, you know, a drunk hobo saying, swear, swear, swear. Delete, mute, block, right? I mean, that's life. Except for it's worse than life because people can be anonymous and there can be trolls and bots or whatever. So I just block people by the 1,000. Not critics. I follow probably more critics than people I like. I follow probably more accounts on Twitter, for example, that I disagree with than the ones I agree with. I already know what the guys I agree with are going to say. I want to hear the other side. But I block the trolls. I block anyone who makes a threat or a swear or bad faith or wishes me ill will. I just block them. There's more where they came from, don't worry. So Hamza Yusuf, that video there, 156,000, it's a half-hour video. And I go through line by line in this law. I'm here in Canada, a country founded by Scots, by the way. You may know that John A. MacDonald was actually born in Scotland, and he came to Canada to create it. The city from which I hail is called Calgary. Well, that's not a native word, that's a Scottish word. So basically the Scots made Canada, and I'm glad for it. Here I am in Canada, and I go through this Scottish proposed censorship law meticulously for half an hour, put it on the internet thinking, all right, maybe Count Dankula will watch it, that's about it. Well, 156,000 people watched it. It's gone viral in Scotland, and I think it's wobbling this law. Scotland, what's the population of Scotland? You want to Google that for me? I don't know it off the top of my head, and I don't want to guess. It's part of the United Kingdom. It's one of the kingdoms that were united. There used to be a king of Scotland, and I hear 5.5 million. So Scotland itself is not a huge place. There's more than 60 million Brits, but only a lucky 5.5 million of them are Scots. Aren't we lucky that the Scots, I mean, they basically invented the Industrial Revolution. They codified capitalism. They really built so much of the modern world. James Watt, really the perfecter of the steam engine. There's only 5.5 million Scots in Scotland, but I think you could trace millions of Scots in the New World, including in the U.S. South. That's at Scots, Irish, Scots, Celtic. There's different ethnicities, and I'm not an expert in it, but boy, there's a lot of folks from that background in Canada and the United States, and thank God, I say. 5.5 million of them, and they want to be the most censored place in the world? No, they do not. Hamza Yusuf wants them to be the most censored place in the free world, but they don't want it. So my video's gone viral in Scotland. You have a video getting 156,000 views in Scotland, that's going to leave a mark. That would be like a video getting more than 1 million views in Canada, more than 10 million views in the United States. You have a video picking apart a law, getting 10 million views in the United States, it's going to make a dent. 1 million views in Canada, it's going to make it. It's a half-hour video. Well, I got an email from a left-wing newspaper. I don't know if they're left-wing on all issues, but they're left-wing on free speech. They don't like free speech. And they did a front-page story on my little video. The Daily Record. Today's exclusive Daily Record leads on Hamza Yusuf speaking out after vile abusive messages made him consider leaving politics. Please stay, but he won't let the racists win. Violent threats make me fear for my family's safety, but I won't quit and let racists win. Hamza Yusuf forced to consider leaving politics after far-right online video triggers violent abusive messages. Now, far-right is a word they use in the UK that means alt-right. Here you hear far-right, far-left. It doesn't have particular meaning. There, it means racist, white supremacist, whatever. Doesn't really work. I'm Jewish. The chair of Rebel News is a Muslim woman. We have people of different racial backgrounds. And as you saw from the clip, the only racist part of the video was where we quote Hamza Yusuf talking about how much he hates white people. But what's he going to, that video has done so much damage to him politically that he's doing what Catherine McKenna does here. Oh, you're just picking on me because I'm a woman. Well, no, I'm not picking on you, mate. You're the justice minister. And you put forward an atrocious law that is more appropriate for a censorship jurisdiction like Pakistan than a free jurisdiction like Scotland. And stop being so racist to everybody. It's so weird that you're the racist one, but you see racism as everywhere except in the mirror, mate. You're the problem, I think. But instead of answering for his atrocious bill that the police say they won't enforce, they say they can't enforce it. How can the police go around being joke testers? There's a special provision in his bill. I couldn't even understand this. It focuses on plays, like a theatrical production. When was the last time you went to see a play? I'm not talking about school plays that you're forced to go to that are just awful. But even those are covered. The plays aren't a big thing, right? They used to be a big thing 400 years ago when there weren't movie theaters and there wasn't TV. So plays were a thing. They were great. Now you can read a play. We were talking earlier about, I got the sneezes, pardon me, I got a sneeze coming. We were talking about Much Ado About Nothing, my favorite Shakespeare play. We were, on my Wednesday's show, we were playing excerpts from the movie. But back in the day, you had to go and see a play. And it was a real big deal. Now it's more sort of an elite cultural thing because a lot of people just watch Netflix, right? Going to a play is fun. It's got a special feeling like seeing live music, which is still fun, but it's also an elite thing. Most people get their music electronically. My point is, I did not think that theatrical plays, which are fairly rare because it's sort of expensive and small scale, right? I think that's the reason plays are rarer these days, because the amount of effort just to show a few, I mean, Broadway works, and there's the theatre district in London, and I suppose Scotland has its echo of that. But You need to be in a really big city where you have enough fancy people who are looking for that high-class leisure pursuit. Yeah, I know there's street theater and there's, alternative theater. I know that, but my point is it's not, other than the real professional commercial theatrical producers, like in Toronto would be the Mervish family, or Andrew Lloyd Wright, is that his last name? Andrew Lloyd Webber? Webber, thanks. Yeah, Andrew Lloyd Webber, so I'm confusing people. You're not gonna, it's a small deal. And it's so painstaking. I can only imagine. You got to find the actors and the director and the producer and the money and the theater and the tickets and the set. It's so much a hassle. But this law, Hamza Yusuf's censorship law, has special provisions targeting plays. What is that? Is there like some big phenomenon in Scotland of hateful theatrical troupes going from theater to theater with thespians who typically fall left of center? I'm sure there are the odd conservative theater actor. Actually, I'm not sure of it, come to think of it. Yeah, look at this. Look, I don't get this. Culpability where offense committed during public performance of a play. This section applies where an offense under Section 3 is committed during a public performance of a play by a person who is a performer in the play, and the commission of offense involves consent or connivance on the part of a person who presents or directs the performance, or is attributable to neglect. What? The person mentioned in subsection commits the offense for the purpose of the section of persons to be taken to have directed a performance. So now the director is committing a crime. In the section play and public performance have the same meanings as the Theatres Act 1968. What are you doing? Why are you criminalizing plays? If there's an insult in a play, a lot of comedies are insulting. But I'm not going to go through the whole law here. You should watch my 30-minute video on this thing. Maybe we can link it maybe we can put the link up there. Why? What? A lot of plays, like there's dramas, there's comedies, there's tragedies, there's combinations, tragicomedies, whatever. A lot of humor comes with little barbs in it, little insults in it, right? The clips we showed on Wednesday of Beatrice and Benedict, the two main characters in Much Ado About Nothing, all they do is insult each other. It's, the taming of the shrew. Bickering, that's where we get she's a shrewish woman. That's the taming of the shrew. A woman who had such a sharp tongue. Would she ever be made lovable? Can she be tamed? She's a wild woman. Can she be tamed? It's all about insults. No, those are illegal insults, because the United Kingdom has stood for centuries, but the United Kingdom has survived 400 plus years of Shakespeare and his insults and his jokes. And give me a list. Google Shakespearean insults. I'm not going to try and go from memory here, because I'll get them wrong. And the thing about Shakespeare is you don't want to get the words wrong. You got to get the words just right. So just Google Shakespearean insults. They're hilarious. Even though they're 400 years old, they're funny. Give me some Shakespearean insults. Imagine, okay, here we go. A most notable coward, an infinite and endless liar, an hourly promise breaker, the owner of no one good quality. All's well that ends. That's a great insult. Away, you starveling, you elfskin, you dried neat's tongue, bull's pizzle, you stockfish. I don't even know that. Away, you 3-inch fool. Come, you forward and unable world. Okay, I think there's some typos here. Go prick thy face and overread thy fear. The lily-livered boy. I don't even know if these are real, because I see typos. His wit's as thick as a Tewkesbury mustard. Is that real? I am pigeon-livered and lack gall. I am sick when I do look on thee. I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell when you can. You are not for all markets. I know that one is real. That is such a good insult. That's, I think, spoken to a gal who's having a tough time getting married, and she said, well, should I settle? Should I settle for this guy? yeah, you should. You're not for all markets. Yeah, you're an acquired taste. You're really, really pretty and really, really nice. At least I think so. I know I'm the only one who thinks. But yeah, you should settle now. How can a country that loves, cherishes, and lives with Shakespeare for 400 years contemplate bringing in laws banning insults in plays? Are you mad? No. He's just angry. It's different. He's angry at all those white people. You know who's so white? William Shakespeare. Now, we're not going to go into it now. You know, I want to tell you a quick story. We got a lot of super chats. I love Shakespeare. And when I had more time, I would really get into it. And I wouldn't just shut up about it. And you're probably thinking, what's changed? Well, it was like 10 times worse. And I once got an invitation to go to a weekend conference about Shakespeare. Violence in Shakespeare was about. Oh. And I went, and I was the only person at this. It was a small conference, less than 20 people. And I was the only person invited who was not a Shakespeare professor. I was in heaven. Now, I was also embarrassed every hour because I was so dumb next to all these like people who had spent 20, 30 years studying the Bard. And I'm just like I like it. Ezra, what are your deep thoughts on the Midsummer's Night's Dream as compared? And there were lots of accents. There were fancy accents. Ezra, what are your thoughts as compared to Midnight? I like it. It was a very embarrassing. I did my best to shut up, but I met one expert who said, blah, 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 Shakespeare's girlfriend was black. And I said, why you give me that woke revisionism? It's like people who say Jesus was black or Jesus was gay. Can't you just accept the greats? And he said, mate, I don't even know what accent he had. He said, no. Read for yourself. He's got 10 sonnets about her. And I said, well, I shall indeed do that. And I wasn't mad that Shakespeare had a black girlfriend. I just said, can you please just enjoy the writing and not try and say, well, he was gay, he was transgender, he was black, he was in a wheelchair. Like, can you just enjoy him without talking about his race? Can you enjoy his work? When he wrote the character of Shylock in Merchant of Venice, I am a Jew. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? He wrote, it was a really tough play for Shylock, who doesn't end well. The Merchant of Venice, it's the Jew. But there's that one little moment where the Jew says, are we not like you? If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? Can you call that up? Can you give me that? If you prick us, do we not bleed? And you know what? I'm not going to say Shakespeare was Jewish. No, he doesn't have to be Jewish to get into the humanity and the mind and the heart of a Jew being persecuted in Venice, a Jew whose own daughter ran away from the faith. I mean, he is the bad guy, but he's dealt with in a tender manner. I'd like to read that, if you prick us, quote. But so I'm there with this professor who says Shakespeare's girlfriend's black. And I just thought he was making a political revisionist point, but maybe we don't have time to do that today. Here we go. If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge? If we are like you and the rest, we will resemble you in that. If a Jew wrong a Christian, what is his humility? Revenge. If a Christian wrongs a Jew, what should his sufferance be by Christian example? Why revenge? The villainy you teach me, I will execute, and I shall go hard, but I will be better the instruction. Oh my God, is that good? You see what he's saying? Now, it's terrible because he wants to collect a pound of flesh. He loaned money to an entrepreneur whose ship sunk, and he said, I loaned you money, and your security with me was not a house or anything, it was a pound of your flesh. And you've taught me wickedness and villainy, and if I did this to you, you do it to me, so I'm learning from you. You know what? Oh boy, he sounded bad there, but you see his argument there. Can I get some Shakespeare Black Girlfriend sonnets on screen? Just one. I won't spend more time on it. Just, you know what? I don't know the numbers of them. Maybe just type in Shakespeare sonnet fair. Like he talks about skin, he talks about, you know, my mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. That's a good one to start. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. We're going to get to the super chats. We're getting back to Hamza Yusuf. We're getting back to that stuff. But how can I leave you hanging when I tell you that Shakespeare, I became a believer that weekend that Shakespeare had a black girlfriend. And it shouldn't shock you. London was the most, Sonnet 130, one of the most famous. Look at this. My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hair be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damasked red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks, and in some perfumes there is more delight than in the breath that from my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go, my mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet, by heaven, I think my love is rare, as any she belied with false compare. Oh my God, is that the best? You know, there's another one. Betwixt my eye and heart a league is took. It's not a black one, it's just my favorite. Can you just do that one? Shakespeare sonnet Betwixt. My favorite sonnet of all, can I say that to you? We have 897 people watching. If it falls below 897, if it falls below 850, we'll get off the side. Just betwixt. That's the key word. Or a league is took. Oh my God, that is the most amazing sonnet I've ever read in my life. Yeah, pump it up. Give me some. My eyes are dim. Look at this one. And it's crazy that they all have numbers. They don't have names. Did you know that? We got over 150 sonnets. They do not have names. I love this. Betwixt mine eye and heart a league is took. Do you know what that means? That means my eye and my heart have made a deal. And each doth good turns now unto the other. So my eye and my heart do favors to the other. Isn't that crazy? When that mine eye is famished for a look, or heart in love with sighs himself doth smother, with my love's picture, then my eye doth feast, and to the painted banquet bids my heart. Another time, mine eye is my heart's guest, and in his thoughts of love doth share a part. So either by picture or my love, thyself away art resent still here with me. For thou not farther than my thoughts canst move, and I am still with them and they with thee. Or if they sleep, thy picture in my sight awakes my heart to heart's and eyes' delight. So when I see you, my heart gets the favor. And when I don't see you, my eyes get the favor repaid by the heart. Who thinks like that? William Shakespeare, that's who. And imagine criminalizing plays in the land of Shakespeare. Now, he was in London, not Scotland. But imagine what tyrant would seek to censor words in the land of words, who would seek to censor theater in the crucible of theater, the crucible. You know, we'll do another day where we go through all the Black Girlfriend sonnets. There's like 7 in a row. Of course Othello is black. Yeah, it's called Othello the Moor of Venice. What's a Moor? We don't really say that. Okay, we're going to do the Super Chats. Can you, in the meantime, while I get the Super Chats, Can you get me a few more of the black girlfriend tweets? Because I know that people don't believe me. And I want to prove it. Let's read those super chats, people. I think we got a lot. A lot of super chats. Does it start with Great Informer? Is that the first one? Rebel, I got tons. Justin Trudeau orders a BLT without bacon, lettuce, tomato. George Soros believes the Dukes of Hazzard is royal family from England. Okay, these are jokes. Those aren't bad jokes. I like your jokes because they're kid-friendly. When you got kids, you look for kid-friendly jokes. Depends on their age. You know, here's a joke for a 4-year-old. What did the 0 say to the 8? Nice belt. Why was the 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9. Those work on little kids. I got a ton of them. Why were the strawberries so sad? Because their parents were in a jam. Mark, $5. More and more merchants in Alberta are refusing to accept cash and blaming the China virus as a reason. Is it legal to refuse legal tender in Canada? No, I don't believe it is. I don't believe it is. But you see what's happening? We're being pitted against each other. I don't like fighting with shopkeepers. I like to be a friendly customer. I don't like the fact that all these mask laws and other laws are pitting us against each other. Proud Boys Calgary, 279. Some single men in Proud Boys Calgary. Any ladies want a Proud Boy? I bet the answer is yes. Great Informer, $2. Trudeau uses a broom to enter the sweepstakes. See, that's a good one. That's a good one. D. Mihalaki, $5. Many would stop wearing masks if they knew about exemptions. How would one who doesn't watch Rebel News or read bylaws find out about exemptions? Well, you're certainly not going to find out about them from the mainstream media, which is part of the panic party. Great Informer, $5. You have friends for a reason. You have friends for a season. Tough times do not last. Tough people do. All right, words to live by. Lisa Proust, $2. I love David's reports. I love Rebel News. Well, Lisa, I think you're looking for love. I think you said that more or less in a tweet to Sheila. Maybe the way to start this whole matchmaking thing is a single project. You. For Sheila to work with you as a prototype. And if she can match you to an eligible rebel man, maybe we have proof of concept. I'm just brainstorming. Jim Rat, $5. Ezra, did you get the handcrafted trophy I had made for you last year, sent via your Edmonton lawyer? Yes, I did. And if I didn't properly send you a thank you, please let me thank you now and please let me apologize for the passage of time. I did get that. It took me a while. He did put it in the mail to me, and I did get it. Thank you. Just gameplay, no commentary, $5. The Rebel is the only media who has to operate like it's war times within the Canadian borders. How did conservatism become an act of terrorism? Well, it hasn't yet, but not for lack of trying. And as you can see from Humza Yousaf's bill in the Scottish Parliament, they want to criminalize any thoughts or feelings. Now, the thing is, as I've pointed out 10 times, Humza Yousaf himself is the biggest racist in Scotland, but the law would never be used against them. The law is written so broadly, anyone is guilty, they just have to be charged. But of course, Humza Yousaf, being the Justice Minister, would not be charged under it. MEC, $1.80, thank you. Mike G, $5. Ezra, I bought your China virus book. Right afterwards, Amazon banned it. It's a great read, and I've pointed others to your book and even let my copy out. Well, that's nice of you. Thanks very much. Ray W, £5. Thanks, Rebel from Scotland. Well, thank you. And I don't know Scotland well. I've been to England, and I've been north, but not all the way to Edinburgh. When the pandemic is over, I have daydreamed about doing a hiking trip of Scottish castles. Now I know you're looking at me and saying, Ezra, by hiking, do you mean driving around in a little golf cart? No, gentle hikes, like not rock climbing, but there's all these gorgeous castles in various state of ruin in Scotland. I'd like to go on a hiking tour of Scotland and learn about these castles. I'm just telling you one of my bucket list dreams, okay? I can't go to Hong Kong anymore. That makes me deeply sad. I like going to London, but I'm always there for work. Maybe one day I'll go to Scotland. Pop by Count Dankula and share a haggis. And that's not code for anything romantic. We'll just share a haggis. That is not, there's no double meaning there. Kappa, €5. Thanks, Rebel from Finland. Well, there you go. Thank you very much. Zen Axe, $2. Racists are the ones who see racism everywhere. I really think that's right. I don't think Scotland is racist, and the fact that Hamza Yusuf has been so successful is sort of proof of that. David Anderson, $2. Satirical skits at the Edinburgh Festival. Well, yeah. I mean, would you do a comedy sketch in Edinburgh or Glasgow? You know, I've been looking for this amazing clip of John Smeaton, the Glasgow baggage handler who attacked the terrorists who were attacking the Glasgow airport. There's some old clips. It was really before the age of cell phone footage. Just watching John Smeaton. Did we ever play some of those John Smeaton clips? We were looking for one where he pronounces the word fracas as fracas. And once I heard him say that, I never went back to saying fracas. You know that word F-R-A-C-A-S, which means like a fight? I heard John Smeaton say fracas. I thought, oh my God, maybe that's how that's pronounced. And I just started pronouncing it fracas. And no one else does except for me and John Smeaton. There's a clip, if you can find it, where he says, if you come to Glasgow, we'll set about ya. Or whatever. I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm not practiced in my Scottish accent. Can you find that John Smeaton, Glasgow, set? We can find the we'll set about you, because that was his famous one. We can't find the fracas, but set about you. Timothy Powell, £5, thank you. James LeGros, $5. Where are all the missing children in this country? Why does Netflix think a twerking 11-year-old is entertainment? Shout out to People versus Predators. There absolutely is a problem with pedophilia and child rape. I think the case of Jeffrey Epstein proves that. This is no longer the stuff of conspiracy theories. Is there anyone who doubts what happened with Jeffrey Epstein and some of the most powerful people in America and the world? Is there anyone who thinks that Prince Andrew wasn't inappropriately involved? We got the Smeaton clip, do we? Okay, let's take a listen to John Smeaton.
Luck, and luckily my luck was in yesterday. I mean, it could have gone totally another way and I wouldn't be here standing talking to you. You know, it's just one of those things.
Now John, the toast of his colleagues, has a message for any would-be terrorists.
They can try and come to Britain and they'll try and disrupt us any way they want, but the British people have been under a lot more things than this, and we always stand proud. And then you come to Glasgow, Glasgow doesn't accept us, do you know what I mean? This is Glasgow, you know, so yeah, we'll set about you, you know, that's it.
John Gilbert, ITV News.
Did you understand a word he said? Like a single word. That was English, my friends. With a beautiful Scottish brogue. Brogue. You know what? There's nothing more gentle and soothing than a Scottish brogue. It's just very soothing. You know? When I'm sort of revved up as a busy day and I'm trying to fall asleep and it's midnight and I know I got to get up early, I just throw on one of those sort of Zen apps. You know those apps, those sort of mindfulness, calm down. It has got its brogue! Just to get me ready for sleeping. It's like Gilbert Gottfried. Can you imagine if Gilbert Gottfried smoking a Glasgow brogue? Can we get, is it even on the internet, can we get Gavin McInnes doing Scottish iPhone? Before I had ever met Gavin McInnes, before I had even heard of Gavin McInnes, I saw this hilarious video, 10 million views, of Siri. Without further ado, take a look-see. Take a look at this. Oh my God. It's the best.
Gonna give me a hand here, getting something to eat, and something simple like a chip butty or maybe a Jimmy Dodger, and then a pint of, I don't know, McEwen's Lager or Caledonian 80.
I'm not aware of any meetings about thing without Mahatma Johnny Georgia and Joni Chipbati.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. See me, right? I want a jammy dodger, like a fucking jam sandwich, and a chip butty. That's just bread with chips. I'm not even going to get into the pints. Just get me that.
Sorry, I don't understand. I need to get some pajamas.
Look you fucking cow. I need a sandwich, a jammy dodger. It's just bread and jam. Fuck the chip butty. Fuck the McEwen's Lager. Can you just do that, please, you fucking cow?
No need for profanity.
Oh, for fuck's sake, that's it!
If you're not laughing, you're lying. You're lying if you're saying you're not laughing. That's the first time I ever encountered Gavin McInnes. I didn't know who that fellow was. I thought, that is funny. I think that had like 10 million views. YouTube knocked it down because they took off Gavin's page, I think. But that was obviously re-uploaded. And I'm glad, because although that's his property and YouTube won't let him monetize it, I don't think. The world should see that. John Smeaton, John A. MacDonald, Gavin McInnes. Some of the best people in the world have come from Scotland, although some people would quarrel with me on Gavin, but you got to admit the lad can make you laugh. Let me catch up here. John M., $10 Canadian. Project Veritas has a wall of shame for retractions, etc., of false accusations against them. Ever thought of a rebel version? Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. We've had some big wins. Proud Boys Calgary, 279. Well, if you're going to fanboy over an author, are you talking about Shakespeare? Tame Thing, 279. Love Wayne and Schuster's Shakespearean baseball. You know what? They were on TV when I was a very young lad. I vaguely remember that. I'll have to freshen my memory on that. Thank you for the reminder. Roxanne LaFrance, $2. Why are they flying UN flags at Frontenac Place? I don't know. Frontenac Place, that sounds like a place in Quebec. Do you know what Frontenac Place is? I don't. I know I should know what that is. I know the Hotel Frontenac, or Chateau Frontenac in Quebec City, but I'm embarrassed that I don't know what the Frontenac Place is. Sorry. Trudeau privilege, $7. Who do you suspect is going to lead the PC party as of Sunday? Well, I don't have any insight, like special insight. I don't have any secret insider info. I mean, Peter MacKay is acting like a front runner. Aaron O'Toole is acting like a strong challenger. I don't think Leslyn Lewis or Derek Sloan have the numbers on the ground to win. It's really gaming the system because the rules are so weird. I should tell you that on Sunday we will have a live stream. I'll be sitting right here. I think Sheila Gunnery's going to join from out west. We'll have a live stream at 6:15 on Sunday where what the results will be at 7. They start to, is that what's going on? It starts at 6:30. So we'll be on at 6:15 sounds fine by me. So we'll start at 6:15 on Sunday. 6:30 the official event starts. I think we're going to have someone at the event in Ottawa, is that right? We're still working on it. So yeah, so if you care about that, tune in on Sunday. Ivan Popowski, 20 Australian bucks. Only the radical left or Islamists would want to eradicate beauty, art, and love. Thanks for sharing Shakespeare. Neanderthals like me are still learning how to be a real man. Well, there is nothing that Shakespeare doesn't touch. There's nothing that escaped his gaze, especially the range of human emotions. Othello, we talked about that earlier. The green-eyed monster of jealousy. Is that from Othello? I think so. Because Othello was jealous of his wife. Macbeth, vaulting ambition that overleaps itself. Oh, a story of ambition and murder. And Lady Macbeth, unsex me here. Oh, give me that in the last 2 minutes. Give me that Macbeth, unsex me here. I got to read that to you. Clayton Lee, $5. Ezra, you better go to Scotland before they make vaccines mandatory and they make travel difficult and impossible. Hey, that is so, so true. Can I just read you It's 12:59. I have 1 minute. Do we have a dog video today? You don't have a dog video, no problem. We didn't get through anything here, did we, other than Hamza Yusuf and David's Caledonia? But you know what? I think some of it was substantive. Okay, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. So, Lady Macbeth, as the name suggests, she's a lady. And she's got to do some terrible things. Can you find it there? Just find the word unsex. Oh yes, there it is, there it is, thank you. Under my, come you spirits, there it is, that's where it's typical. Come you spirits, that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here. What does that mean, unsex me? Well, her sex, she's a woman. And women, at least Shakespeare thought, are generally kind and loving and sources of life and providers, you know, nurturers. But she's saying, no, 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 I got to get rid of this loving part. I got to get rid of this feminine part of me. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood. Stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect in it. So you gotta remove my womanly nature. Look at this. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gall, you murdering ministers. What's the nature of a mother? Mother's milk. She wants to be rid of that. She wants it by bitter gall instead. She is, come thick night and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold. Do you know any Lady Macbeths? I know one named Hillary Clinton. Folks, we're out of time. I want to get out of the way because at 1:15 we've got the premiere for David Menzies' new video from Caledonia. It looks great. But I think, given that we're generally pro-conservative, anti-Hamza Yusuf, anti-Hillary Clinton, I think in the name of balance, we should end by showing you a massive show of force and energy by Joe Biden. You may have seen the world's largest armada of Trump boats the other day. You may see those massive Trump rallies. Well, Joe Biden just saw you, your Trump boat armada, and raised you a golf cart caravan. So I'll say goodbye now and leave you with the mighty, mighty Biden Brigade. Take a look.